All right, we are live, I believe. Yeah. So, welcome to the Relevant Development Podcast. I am your host, Juan Alvarado. I think everything is hooked up. Mic is in, cameras rolling. We are live on LinkedIn and on YouTube. This is a sneak peek into the first episode of season 3 of the Relevant Development Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Um, for the next 6 weeks, we are going to dive deep into personal development. I think it's crucial for us to pour into ourselves so that we can pour into others. And so for the next 6 weeks, Monday Mindset and any episodes that I have with guests are all going to be on personal development, mindset, setting goals, things like that. But I want to get into kind of the things that we will make mistakes in this year. I think a lot of times, and I've said this a lot on the podcast before, but we will make New Year's resolutions, and studies show that they will fail within the first 28 days. People will set goals that aren't real goals. People will have the mentality, "Oh, new year, new me," and all that other stuff. My buddy Jeremy Anderson made a post on his Instagram. It says, "By now, people on social media are telling you the following things: write down your New Year's resolutions. New Year's resolutions don't work, and that 2024 is your year." So let me tell you who's saying that and why you might be hearing it. I know that this is not new to anybody, but write down your New Year's resolutions. Who's telling you that? People who set resolutions, people who have been there, done that, uh, and coaches and counselors and consultants and people like me. Right? Write down your New Year's resolutions. Um, Let me know in the chat if you have New Year's resolutions. If you set a goal or have a goal, you don't want to call them New Year's resolutions, or you've heard write down your New Year's resolutions. You've heard New Year's resolutions don't work, or you heard that 2024 is your year. So here are the people who are telling you that. People like me, people who've again been there, done that. New Year's resolutions don't work. So people are telling you that are people who have failed before, who don't have any drive, who have failed before and allow outside influence to inflict on them. So now they are trying to be your outside influence to influence you. And a lot of times we project, right? So one of your failures that you will make is listening to the wrong people and allowing somebody else's experience try to become yours, right? We do this with Yelp reviews, where you have somebody who had a bad experience. You're like, well, I'm not going to go there. Or, ew, here comes so and so, and they're so bad, and they gossip, and they do this, and they do that, and you allow somebody else's preconceived notion about somebody else be your new thought process about that person. So when people say New Year's resolutions don't work, it's because they're allowing their hurts to be put upon you. So don't let somebody else's experience be yours. And then 2024 is going to be your year. These are going to be other coaches and consultants and things like that. And then people who are trying to motivate you. So it's not bad, but this is the reason why those 3 statements fall flat on their face. Um, Writing down your New Year's resolutions doesn't work because all you're doing is writing them down. Yes, make them visual, but when you write them down, that's all it is. And so there's a training that I do, and that I talk about. And again, write down if you have a New Year's resolution or you have a goal this year, or you're one of those people who are like, I don't do that. I would love to know where you're coming from on that. But um, people will write down their New Year's resolutions or their goals, and like I have, for me, I'll be transparent. I have that I want to read more. What happens is people will write it down and like, oh, just so I can be like all kumbaya with everybody else, I'm gonna write my goals down. Well, that's fine in writing them down because they're visual, but then where are you making them visual? Where you make the mistake is you write it down and that's it. And so one of the exercises that I do with people, and you can do this yourself, like we can do this as a training. So some people will hear this on Spotify and Apple, and some people will be watching this on YouTube. Some people are watching it live. But take time. If you're off or you're at work and you have time, let's get into like a small little workshop right now. Get out a piece of paper and a pencil or pen and write down what you want to do. So if I was just to write, I want to read more. I have on here be a learner and a reader, right? That's who I'm becoming, who I want to become. Because if I do everything that I'm supposed to do in my goals or my steps, I will eventually become a better reader and a better learner. So who do you want to become? Right? Some people say, I want to stop smoking. I want to lose weight. Cool. You want to become, who are you going to become? Healthy, a healthier person. So that's who you want to become. Anyways, and people just write it down. Mistake number one, they just write it down. When we write it down, we use our hands. If we were to write it out and say it, I want to be a better reader, we use our hands, we use our mouths because we're saying it, and we can hear ourselves audibly because we're saying it. So we use our hands, our eyes, because we're seeing what we're writing. We're saying it out loud. So we're using our mouth and we're using our ears and our mind. But then if we don't do anything about it and just say, oh, I want to become a better reader, well, what the hell are you going to read? If you say, I want to lose 10 pounds, okay, you're going to do that walking, running, jogging. You can do it at a gym. You're going to do it because you're going to stop taking in sugar. Like, what is it that you're going to do? Like, so there's just more to writing it down. But here's the key to offset those mistakes. I say that on top of using your hands and your ears and your mouth and your eyes and everything else, you have to add your heart. And this is the reason why things fail. Is because we don't add our heart. One, what do you mean by adding our heart? Give your why. And I know it's very cliche to hear, but what is your why? I want to become a better reader. I want to become a better learner for a couple different reasons. My personal thing. So don't let my goals affect your thought process. I mean, if it does, then you have issues and you need help. So when I say this, don't take offense to this because this is for me, not for you. And if it is for you, awesome. I want to read my Bible more. I have a lot of books around that, and they're all back here, right here, that I want to get into. And I have a new book that I just got given that is huge. And my thought is, if I can read that, then I can read my Bible too. So I just want to be able to read more. Who am I going to become? A better follower of Christ, a better reader, a learner. But when I add heart to it, why? I want to lead my family more. I want to lead my boys, my sons more better, more specific in our relationships. And I just want to be able to lead my family better. I think that will help me do that. So when I tell my why, my boys and I will become closer. My wife and I will become closer. I will become smarter. I will become better in my teachings, better in my speakings. When I add the why to it, I become or my goals become more clear and more cemented because I have a why behind it. I want to lose weight. Okay, cool. Or I want to become more muscular or whatever it is. Why? I told my boys before, part of my French, if shit goes down, I want to be able to defend myself. I want to be able to protect you. If someone tries to harm you, I better be able to wrestle and fight and push myself for at least 5 minutes. And if I gas out and I can't breathe at the end of it, bro, how are you going to survive something? I put my why behind why I need to lift more, why I need to run more. Recently, oh, cool. We're getting some people come in. Um, um, on YouTube, somebody just commented, I decided to only consume content that I will learn from. I gotta run now, but look forward to your content. Thank you so much. Love it. Love the new YouTube algorithm connecting a lot of people, like minded people. Awesome. I love it. Thank you so much, Anthony. Come back and listen to this if we run out of, or if you run out of time. And that means a lot to me because it keeps me going. So you have to understand that when we put our why behind it, it magnifies and it compounds our reason to do so. Just the other day, I told my wife, "Dude, I feel like I'm not anxious. I'm not having an anxiety attack or anything like that, but my heart feels like it's pumping out of my chest." This caffeine of Dutch Bros doesn't help any. But I take my pulse and it's perfectly fine. I should go get my heart checked. I want to be healthier this year because I want to be able to live with my wife for a long. I want to grow old with my wife. I want to be able I want to be able to spend time with my boys. I want to one day I'm gonna have grandchildren. I want to be able to wrestle and fight with and have fun with my grandchildren. Huge difference when it comes to I want to work out, right? There's this why and this heart behind it. So mistakes that we make is we just write it down. We have people are naysayers and say, "Oh, New Year's resolutions don't work." Here's the other one: I'll start Monday or I'll start on January 1st. Well, Monday's here, January 1st is here, but you don't have to wait for a Monday. You don't have to wait for January 1st. You can just do it now. Whenever you're hearing this, maybe you're hearing this in February or March or June. You can start now. You don't if it's Friday, you don't have to wait till Monday, because another mistake that we make is that we dig ourselves a hole. We say, "Oh, I saw a lot of posts on this. My the diet starts Monday," right? And so they're eating pizza and burgers and fried chicken, whatever it is, and they're like, I'll just start Monday." Well, what you're doing is, if it's Wednesday, you're gonna go Thursday or the rest of Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 5 days eating crap. So what you're doing essentially is digging yourself a deeper hole that's going to be harder to get out of. You have to burn those calories. You're going to have to, um, I hate to put it this way, but it's almost like a crack fiend, someone who's on drugs saying, "I'm just going to smoke 10 more days crack cocaine, and then I'll get." You're 5 more days deeper in the hole than you like. It's going to be harder to get out of. And so when we have these limited beliefs of I'll just start, you haven't started this far. So what makes you think you're just going to stop cold turkey? What you should do is the 5 days leading up to Monday is, what can I do now? Who can I get around me? Who can help me out? What do I need to buy? What do I need to get rid of? What do I need to trash out? Just the other day, the last 3 days, I've been going through my Instagram account and I'm like, who do I not need to follow anymore? What is just, I mean, kind of what Anthony said. I decided to only consume content. I'll bring this up right here. I only decided to consume content that I learned from. That's huge. So if people aren't growing me and they're just posting stupid stuff that's taking me away from learning and not helping me, sorry, not following. Unfollow, unfollow. Even on my what is it called? My explore page, I'll see pictures or thumbnails that uh I don't need to see. And so I'll click on it and I'll say hide. I don't like this content or whatever, because I want to be able to make the environment around me more growth, a lot better. And so it's just those little tiny things. It's an unfollow, it's a hide this content. It's just little steps. So I'm going to do that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm going to get rid of this food in my refrigerator or my pantry or whatever. I'm going to call up that person that I know that has been working out and see if I can go with them. It's just these little tiny steps. We don't have to go cold turkey just all in one day, but every single day, how are we moving closer? And so those are the mistakes that we continue to make. Here's another one: is that we want a a main we create a main dish as our goal. I want to lose weight. I want to stop smoking. I want to read. I want to have a better relationship with my spouse. I want to do whatever it is, and we are not thinking smaller picture. I want to have, again, a better relationship with my spouse. I want to get a promotion. But here's the deal: I heard this example the other day and it totally rings true to me, and I want to share it with you. A guy by the name of Preston Morrison, who I love all of his content, and he had said, if somebody asks, I want lasagna, you just don't give them lasagna. You have to go out and you have to go and buy the ingredients, the noodles, the meat, the cottage cheese, the whatever else goes in there, the sauce. You have to buy the ingredients. And so in this metaphor, you can't just say, I want this, I want lasagna, I want the better relationship with my spouse, I want the promotion, I want this. Like, I really feel like God's like, I'll bless you with that. That's not a problem. But it's up to you to go get the ingredients. We can't just have the main course. We have to go out and get the ingredients. So I have my tablet here of some notes that I wrote, but it's like, what does it require? What are the ingredients? Right. So I want to lose weight. So what is it going to take? I have here discipline, different food, consistency, working out. Okay, so what does consistency and discipline take? I have here saying no and saying yes. That's what it's going to take. Those are the ingredients. I have to learn to say yes to the yes things, and I have to learn to say no to the no things. One of the things that I think is really good, and I thought about this kind of a little bit of a subject change, but still in the same thing. In my workout, a coach that I have, we have a push day, so anything pushing, and then another day we have a pull day, so anything pulling, and then we have a cardio day, and then we have a stretch day, and then we start all over. So take this in your quote unquote goal setting or your New Year resolution. As much as I want to add something to my plate, I need to take something off of my plate. If I have a push day, I need a pull day. So a mistake that we have is we want to add stuff without subtracting anything from our day. How am I going to read more? I need to wake up earlier, stay up later, or take something out of my schedule. And I can guarantee you that this little rectangle boy right here, your phone, is something that eats into a lot of your day. Let me know if you're on here, either on LinkedIn or on YouTube. Does your phone get in your way? We call it doom scrolling. There's a setting on your phone where you can check to see how many times you unlock your phone or check your phone. It's insane. So insane. So if I want to read, add, I need to subtract. How can I not use my phone? That's the subtract. If I can be on my phone for 20 minutes, I can read for 20 minutes. Yeah, very much. Yep, very much so. Um, so this is another mistake that we make. We want to add without subtracting. I want to spend more time with my wife. I want to go out on walks. What do I need to subtract? Probably watching TV. Let's just say typical guy. Monday Night Football comes on. Hey, we can walk during halftime. 15 minutes of halftime. So what if you miss part of the second quarter and the start of the third quarter? Go for a walk. My wife just yesterday, matter of fact, said, "Put the game on. I want to watch the game." And I was like, "Who are you right now?" But she's interested in football because our son plays football, and she's getting more and more into it. But we can still spend time with each other. So again, if we're going to add something, the best way to keep you on track is to subtract something. I want to spend some better time with my boys. Again, it's being the leader, saying, "Hey, get off your phone. Are you done with your homework? Come on, let's go to the park. Let's go for a drive. Let's go get Dutch Bros, whatever." But it's intentionality, and that's a huge thing that I speak on. If you've ever heard me speak before, excuse me, it's all about intentionality. So say no, saying yes. Every time I reach for my phone, audibly say it, right? Because we talked about in the beginning, if you were with me in the beginning of this, is you can't just write down your goals. You can't just use your hands. You need to say it, read it, say it, write it, see it, say it, and then put your heart or your why behind it. I don't want to pick up my phone right now. No, like people are going to think, I want you to almost, I want people to think, and I don't mean any disrespect when I say this. I want people to think that you have Tourette's. Like, I want you to be like, no, sorry, not doing it. And then people be like, who in the hell are you talking to? Oh, I'm just talking to myself. Why? Because I have to audibly hear myself say, no, I'm not going to pick up my phone because I don't want to doom scroll for what feels like 2 or 3 minutes or 5 minutes and it ends up being 10 or 30, 45 minutes. I have to be able to say, no, nope, don't pick that up. Pick my book up. Read a page. There's a 5-minute rule. Do it for 5 minutes. And if you don't want to do it anymore, stop. If you do it for 5 minutes and you get something out of it, do it for 5 minutes more. Let's say you don't want to, I hate going for a walk. Go for 5 minutes. 5 minutes is around the block. And you're like, oh shoot, this is not too bad. I'll go again. And I'll go again. If you're like, yeah, that sucked, cool, walk inside. But at least you did it. And this is the thing that I was talking about. Discipline, right? What does it require? What are the ingredients? Discipline, consistency, working out, different food, right? Saying yes. What does consistency and discipline mean? Showing up every single day, saying yes to the yes things and saying no to the no things. No, don't pick up your phone because you're going to get stuck and you're trying to break that habit. Yes to the book. Pick up the book. It's literally saying no and yes. Oh, what's on TV? Nope. Turn off. Nope. Yes to my significant other. Yes to my kids. Yes to meal prepping. Whatever it is, that's where consistency is going to come in and discipline. And I don't like the word consistency because you can consistently be an a-hole. You can consistently screw up. So consistency just means doing the same thing over and over and over again. Discipline comes in when you do it when you don't want to do it. I don't want to go to the gym today. We were all up late last night, right? New Year's Eve. My wife and I went to the gym by 9. I didn't want to go. I'm going to do it anyways. Discipline. I just want to sit and watch TV. Cool. Do it later. What's more important, TV now or your wife now? TV now or your kids now? Push the relationship further away or bring it a little bit closer. You have to dialogue through the yeses and through the nos. Don't just say no to this and yes to this, but why? It's the heart piece. Why? And these are the mistakes that we have. And so I talked about the mistakes. Let me cross that off my list. But the frustration, you have what you have currently because of the decisions that you've made. You drive the car that you drive because of the decisions that you made. You have the job at the pay that you have because of the decision that you've made. You are as smart as you are because of the decisions that you've made. I wish I knew more. Cool. Pick up a book, hang out with different people. I wish I can get a better promotion. Cool. Again, read more, go to conferences, do something more. I've said this 100 times on the podcast. Jim Rohn says, if you don't like where you live, change it. If you don't like what you drive, change it. You're not a tree. Uproot and go. Change it. If you don't like what you make, change it. If you don't like what you just change it. Like you can make these, it's a choice. And decisions lead to directions. If you make a decision today that you want something to change, make the decision. And once you say, yes, I am going to do this, and here's my reason why behind it, then it gives you direction. Okay, then what's next? But here's the frustration. I wish that me and my kids were closer. I wish my wife and I were closer. I wish that, and it's, I wish. You can grant your wishes. To some degree. I mean, you could say, I want to be a billionaire. Okay, then put in the work. But you can still grant that. Let's stop wishing. Let's stop wanting. And let's start doing. Stop being sick and tired of being sick and tired like I was. And there's certain things that I'm still sick and tired of doing and falling short of. But when the day just seems like, you know what, today's January 1st is supposed to be this huge different thing, but it feels no different than December 31st, and no different than November 20th, and no different than October 17th, and no different than September 9th, and no different than August 7th. You are in the driver's seat. You can make that change. Decisions lead to directions. So this year, let's just stop with the complaining. Let's just stop with falling short. Like, will we continue to fall short? Absolutely. Is it an uphill battle to do something better? Yes. There's an old video on my Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, go to my Instagram, Raise the Bar with a Z, Raise the Bar CEO. Follow me, and there's a video further down. You can binge watch all my stuff and you get more views and like everything and make comments and cool. But I talk about, and I had this conversation with my son the other day because there was fog in the Central Valley and in a lot of places. This is the year for fog. And the definition of fog or how fog happens is there's a difference in the temperature. It's called the dew point. Dew point, DEW. The dew point, that when the atmosphere and the temperature in the air and the temperature of the earth or the ground is different, then you get this fog, this moisture. The best way to make sense of this is the moisture on a cold drink, right? And you have the stuff that starts to oh my gosh, why can't I think of the word? The precipitation of your drink, right? The atmosphere, the air in the room that you're in is warmer than the cold ice drink, and it starts to bead dew or wetness, right? That's the dew point. There's a difference in the atmosphere than in the product. So why is it that every single time you want to lose weight, it's right around Thanksgiving, or you want to hang out with the right people, and all of a sudden it's somebody's birthday, and it's that group of people that you don't really want to hang out with. Or you're like, I'm going to stop drinking. And then the friend calls you up and says, hey, we're all getting together for somebody's birthday or whatever. Why is it that every time you want to make a change, things start to happen? The pumpkin pies start to come out, the ordering pizza, the whatever. It's because when your due point, or when you're due, D-O, not D-E-W now, when you're due, what you want to do becomes different than the environment that you're in, it's going to cause a fog. Let me say that again. When your point of change, of direction, has a point, I'm going to do better for myself, I'm going to do better for my family. When your do has a point and a purpose, fog begins to come up and disrupt your vision. It becomes foggy. And if you've ever driven in the fog, it's scary. And you can only see so many feet in front of you. You turn on your fog lights, you can only see so many feet in front of you. But in all honesty, that's all you need. You don't need to see a mile down the road. You just need to see a little bit in front of you. But if you go too fast, you might run into a car that is slow or has stopped. But why is it that when our point, our do has a point, it becomes foggy? Is because you're becoming different than the environment that you're in. So how do we stop the do from happening? Start to create the environment that is the same as you. And then there's no do. There's no fog. So find people with like-minded, stop being frustrated, right? So what are our wants? If this is what you want, you've made a decision, it leads to directions, and you're saying, hey, I need to do this for myself. You give your why, you put heart behind it. I have some advice for you. Find somebody that is currently on that same mission, that same drive, that same goal, or somebody who has just completed that goal and bring them into your inner circle. Because if you want to be happy and you want to make change finally that sticks and doesn't end 28 days into your change of your New Year's resolution, if you want to make that change, bring the right people around you. If you really want it, then you'll make that change. Because the big idea or the big goal is to, again, make that change. So going back a little bit in this conversation, my sister texted me the other day and she said, what is the word that you feel like God has for you in 2024? And I said, man, there's a whole bunch of stuff that I feel that is wanted, quote unquote, or needed. I said, the word travel, and I have it written here, travel more, comes to mind. Okay, so if that's the lasagna I was talking about, if that is the main dish, to travel more, what are the ingredients? What is it going to take? So I put on my notes, and again, I'm actually looking at my notes here that I have written down. It's going to take money. It's going to take networking. It's going to take work, or in my case, speaking in the podcast and things like that. Traveling to speak, people booking me, people booking me to speak, to do keynotes, to do trainings, or to do one-on-ones with you. And when I speak, I get paid. When I meet the right people, they'll call me out. And if they call me too, and I already have, I'm looking at my board over here. Um, I'm going to Waterford, California, Patterson, California, in January 8th and 9th, Ohio, Fresno. What does that say? Oh, back to Patterson, Dallas, Texas, Pennsylvania, and Palm Springs. I have that on my schedule already. And it's already happening. I really truly feel that there's going to be more travel for both business and for pleasure in 2024. But then what are the ingredients it's going to take? It's going to take hard work. It's going to take dedication. It's going to take consistency. I have to say yes to the yeses and no's to the no's. I need to do that verbally. But the big idea and the big goal is to expand my territory, to pour more into people. Okay, awesome, that's fine. But what are the ingredients? So let me ask you, on YouTube, Mr. Cool Guy, do you have a um, goal for this year? Do you have something that you want to work on this year? Let me know in the chat. But again, what does it require? So there's what I call the setup. And I don't want this to go too long, but there's a setup. Basically, go over what works and what doesn't work for you. We all know what works for us. We all know what brings us happiness. We know what brings us joy. And then we also know what brings us down, both in work and at home. So, what works for you? What is that? What is that setup? So, this next couple episodes that I'm going to do is we're going to go over how do we set this up? How do we know what works? How do we know what doesn't? And why it's so important? So, if you're watching this, think that if I can use my screen here, picture this screen having like a line down the middle. And right now we're here, and you have three different decisions or three things that can happen. Your life can change and go up for the better. It could start here and go down and be crappy, or you'll have some up and downs. And it's going to be like every other day, every other year. So let's just say we all start at this point here. But when you make a decision to make a change, you automatically start a little bit higher up. If you say, nah, I'll do it later, you start a little bit lower. If you were to make the decision today to move, um, to do something different, you're starting better than you have before. But continue to come to the podcast, continue to listen. And next episode, we're going to talk about how do we get alignment. And I talk about this in the very first episode and the second episode of season 1. But in this, how do we, in this whole, the next 6 weeks for the podcast, we're going to talk about mindset. We're going to talk about setting goals. We're going to talk about making those decisions. But right now, I need you to make a decision to say, yes, I want to become better. I don't know what it is yet. I'm still working through it. Or yes, I do know what I want to do. I do know that there's going to be a change involved, and this is what it is. So maybe you're positive, maybe you're still unsure. Doesn't matter. Continue to come to the podcast. Listen to the podcast. I will continue to go live on LinkedIn, on YouTube. So if you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple or anything like that, follow me on Instagram, follow me on YouTube, subscribe so you get notified when I go live. These will be on audio. But we're going to go through this. But if you want to know more in detail, January 13th and the 20th, I'm going to be doing a free workshop. It's free. I talked about this before. I was going to charge for it. I want to do it free. On how do we set up January, February, March, April, May. I want to do a free workshop. It's 2 days, 2 Saturdays in a row, 13th and the 20th. If you want to know, hey, Juan, how can I attend this? Just DM me either here or on Instagram, YouTube, or LinkedIn. 2024. Text me the numbers 2024. I'll send you the link on how you can register for the free event. And it's going to be 90 minutes on Saturday. The following Saturday is going to be 90 minutes. I'm going to have some special guests on. They're going to talk about some financial goals. I will talk to you about personal goals, and it's going to be great. So if you DM me 2024, I'll give you. We're changing some stuff on the website for that. So give me a minute, but I will send you the link to register for free. Again, it's back-to-back Saturdays, 90 minutes, maybe a little bit longer, but 90 minutes on how do we set up our future financially, mentally, physically, spiritually, stuff like that. But next podcast, we're going to go through the setup. How do we set up the alignment piece? I know that today you've made a decision. I want there to be change. Start to list out those things, what it would take, what are your yeses, what are your nos, things like that. But next episode, we're going to get into how. We're going to get into that setup, if you will. So kind of all over the place, but today, but I just wanted to put out there, let's make a decision. Stop being sick and tired. Stop being frustrated. Stop being aggravated. Because don't you hate it when you're frustrated and then everything that happens is just elevated and it's just magnified. Like somebody talking or clicking the pen, you're like, oh my gosh, shut up. Somebody's voice is usually probably this loud, but it's elevated and it's just so whiny, or it's this or that, or people, you just, oh my gosh, shut up and stop. Something in you is just eating at you, right? And we need to make a change, right? So let's just stop being frustrated. Let's make the changes that we need to change. Decisions lead to directions. If you want direction and you need help with that, DM me 2024, and I'll send you a link on how you can go to the free workshop on how do we work through this stuff. Cool. One more um, comment. I thought about it and I want to be able to be less frustrated and worried about others, but I don't have a plan for it. Let's plan it, bro. Let's plan it. Frustration is hard, right? It's a byproduct of being angry, right? So how do we change that? Why are we frustrated? What is it about? What do we want, right? We talk about the dew point. What is it that we want to do, or what's the decision? But there's something there that changes how we feel. Anyways, people that are listening to this on Spotify, whatever, like, what's going on? We're getting comments coming in from Instagram and from LinkedIn and from YouTube. But yeah, man, let's go through it. All right. So that's it. Thank you so much for joining me today. Here are some ways that I can help you moving forward. Continue to listen to the podcast, subscribe to the podcast on Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Google Podcast. Follow me and subscribe to YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn. But the other way that I can help you moving forward is, again, reach out, DM me 2024, and come to the free workshop. And if this is after January and you're listening to this and it's February, March, April, June, whatever down the line, still DM me because we will have the recordings and then I'll send them to you for free. Cool. Awesome. God bless. We'll see you on the next episode. Remember, to get to that next level, you have to raise the bar, but you have to pull yourself up so that you can get to that next level. But you can't do it unless you raise that bar. God bless. We'll see you on the next episode.